Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So we are meeting on the starting grid for the final time in 2023. It is time to conclude the 2023 championship, the 2023 season of the ESET Cup series, and we are here in Brno at the Masaryk racing circuit for the final GT sprint of the year. We raced in Germany, we raced in Hungary, we raced in Austria, then also in the Czech Republic in Most, at Automotodrom Most, and then we raced in Slovakia. But it is now time to come back to the Czech Republic, to South Moravia, to Brno, as is usual for the season finale. We have got the cars ready on the starting grid, multiple classes. So let's just take a quick stroll through the grid. We've still got a couple of minutes left before the formation lap begins. So let's see who we have here on the grid. A guest starter, Sven Barth, who put his Ginata Chevrolet on pole position just like yesterday when he dominated the race. But now he's on pole once again, and we'll just try and see if we can have a quick word. Sven, hi. So it's second pole position of the weekend for you. You must be enjoying yourself. You won yesterday, and today again the weather is great and you're on pole. You've got a free view into the first corner. So what is your view for your, let's say, Sunday drive?
Sunday drive, I hope that everything is working good for me. Yesterday was fantastic, the car was nice to drive, but you never know. In the race, during the race, all can happen, and so you have to stay focused, and that's the point. So we have some fast guys behind me, and especially Benjamin Hotz beside me. He's a fast guy, but yesterday he was stuck in traffic a little bit. So let's see tomorrow, today.
As you said, that's the point. How are you enjoying driving this car around this track?
It's fantastic track. It's a very, very fast track. So with this kind of cars, LMP3, it's always a pleasure to drive.
Perfect. Have a great one. Let's keep going maybe a little bit. We'll skip some of the drivers because we, of course, do not have time for every single one of them. we don't have that much time on the grid, but coming here, this year's dominating force of the season, ISR Racing, Igor Salakvada present on the grid once again as usual, and his son Filip sat on pole in the GT3 class once again. You've won everything that you could possibly win this season, so is this now going to be another enjoyable Sunday drive for you?
Yeah, we hope it's very hot, so again we have to be careful with the tires. I hope I can make a good start, because the BMW is very fast now behind us. Also the prototypes, so we have to keep our rhythm, and we try to win again.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your race. Alongside Filip Salakvada, it's Miro Konopka, and the ARC Bratislava racing team will keep coming further back through the grid, because on row number 3 it's Trevor Racing's BMW, but this time it's the M6 which is back, and we have Max Hess, the young factory driver from BMW, joining forces with Trevor Racing for this weekend. Hi Max, so you are here helping Trevor Racing here in Brno. You were maybe hoping for the M4, but that car had a little bit of trouble, so it's the older M6. But how are you enjoying yourselves in this car here around Brno?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Obviously, as you mentioned, I was here to help the team out a bit with the M4, also what I normally drive. So unfortunately, that's not happening. But yeah, we're having some fun with the M6. I like the track. Championship is nice, so it's a cool weekend.
Great. So have a great one. Enjoy yourselves. And if we keep coming further back, we've got Libor Milota. We interviewed him. Oh, I'm sorry. Beg your pardon. We interviewed him yesterday. We've got Mechanik Motorsport youngsters fighting it out for the title in yesterday's race. They're still fighting even in today's race in terms of one of the types of standings. But let's maybe come on the other side of the grid for the man whom we did not have a really that much chance to talk to this weekend. And it's Denis Vasek. Hi, Denis. We've seen and we enjoyed the battle between Mechanik Motorsport Juniors. You were again getting in the mix together with them, enjoying yourselves. This is the last race of the season. The weather is great. So how are you looking forward to this? And I'm calling it with all the drivers the Sunday drive.
I'm looking forward for the race. Yesterday was fun. We had some tight battles, and yeah, in the end it was third place. Hopefully it will be fun today as well, and I will try to get a better position today.
You actually lost the battle yesterday against the Mechanik Motorsports youngsters. Anything to be done differently today?
I have to look after my tires for sure, and we will see if this time it will be better.
Okay, have a great one. Enjoy yourselves.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is it from the grid. We've got just under 2 minutes before the formation lap starts. We're going to have to go away. But before we actually start this one, let's maybe remember what happened back in Slovakia. So that was past, but this is today, and we are getting away from the grid for the final formation lap of the season. Matěj Pavlíček sitting in his office for his own Sunday drive. It was not the greatest one yesterday. He had a great battle with Denis Vasek, which he won, but then he was beaten by his teammate Joachim Galaš, and with that, Joachim Galaš actually became the GTC champion with respect to one of the types of standings. There is still 1 point to prove in today's race as well. to be also crowned the champion in the Central European zone for Joachim Galasch. So the fight is still on in some ways, but celebrations going on yesterday for Mechanic Motorsport already as they clinched the team's trophy. So we are on the formation lap, 5.4 kilometer racetrack here in Brno, and we've got Sven Barth on pole position. Alongside him Benjamin Hotz, just like yesterday. It wasn't the best of starts yesterday for Benjamin Hotz, who actually fell right down the order and had to come through the field. Wasn't really the easiest things for him, but let's see what he can do in race number 2. He was again very quick in qualifying earlier on today. Filip Salaquarda leading the GT3 field in 3rd overall. Alongside him Miro Konopka in his ARC Bratislava coloured Ligier LMP3. Max Hess, the BMW factory driver, 22 years of age, and he's P5 on the grid. Alongside him it is Libor Milota in the colours of GT2 Motorsport. Actually same colours right behind him in P8. That's Denis Vashek in the GTC Lambo, who's actually sandwiched between the two Mechanic Motorsport Lamborghinis. This is Matěj Pavlíček in P9 overall, 3rd in the GTC class. Joachim Galasch, his teammate, sitting on pole position in their category. Diego Romanini in P10 from Tony Herbeck. Pavel Sovička in the KTM GTX, prepared by RTR Projects. Franz Lamer P13. Alongside him, Petr Kačírek in the Duck Racing's Audi R8, Bob Bau P15 from Andreas Kufner, Richard Voschic P17, Antal Žigo P18 and Wolfgang Terschel in P19 to start the race. And with that, we're getting through the final sector of the track and slowly getting to formation. 2 ribbons of cars, 2 snakes of cars will form on the track to start the final one for 2023. My name is Pavel Fabry, I'm your commentator as usual, and let's go and enjoy the final one together. The B8 Alpina coming on power now, leaving the grid in its rear view mirrors, coming back to the pits, and we will welcome the 19 strong field on the start and finish straight to get rock and rolling once again here in Brno. And away we go in sprint number 2. Sven Barth from pole from the inside, immediately coming under pressure from Filip Salaquarda from the back, who's trying to deal with Miro Konopka as well. Ooh, it's a bit tight into the first corner. Benjamin Hotz losing places in the process. Everybody seems to be safely through the first one. Filip Salaquarda up by 2 places. He is ahead of Hotz, and Miro Konopka losing quite a lot of ground on the opening lap. He's now even dropping behind the GTC Lambos. There is Max Hess in the M6 BMW in the Trevor Racing's livery. Behind him Libor Milota. There is the couple of Mechanic Motorsports Lambos already pushing Denis Vashek further back through the field. And it is Joachim Galasch leading Matěj Pavlíček at the start. Miro Konopka already making his way back up the order. He's now overtaken Denis Vashek. And then it is Diego Romanini in his car number 8. Ooh, there's contact. Matěj Pavlíček spun by Miro Konopka. That is very, very unfortunate. Denis Vashek caught out in the moment as well. And let's just hope that Matěj Pavlíček does not get collected by anyone. This is a terrible disaster for Mechanic Motorsport and for Matěj Pavlíček. In the second sprint, they already had 1 car tumbling into the gravel yesterday in the endurance race when Kurt Wagner rolled the car after the contact with RTR Project's GTX KTM. This time it is a spin, probably after contact with Miro Konopka, if I saw that correctly. Very unfortunate for Pavlíček, because he actually sort of needed bad luck to strike his teammate Joachim Galasch in order to still have chances in the Central European zone standings, but this is actually dropping him all the way down to the back of the field and rendering his chances rather theoretical, and that's extremely unfortunate for Matěj Pavlíček. The entire season he's been on average on the back foot against his teammate in the GTC class, but really trying with hard work to make up for it, which he was doing really successfully on a lot of occasions. He scored a number of victories and momentous moments where he beat his teammate, and also Denis Vašek in the GT2 Motorsports Lambo, but this time it is him collecting the bad luck on the opening lap of the sprint race. Of course, the collision between Konopka and Matěj Pavlíček is now under investigation. This is Max Hess in the car number 124. That's the M6 BMW of Trevor Racing. Trevor Racing had issues with the M4 earlier on, before the weekend got even going properly. There were gearbox issues, and the team had to bring the M6 quickly back. The one that helped Gregor Žigo to the title in the past. Filip Salaquarda got up to second. He's now trailing Barth, or he was trailing Barth by 5.6 seconds across the line the last time out. Of course, in the meantime, the Ginetta Chevrolet has extended its lead with Sven Barth at its wheel. There is Salaquarda in his R8 Audi, with Benjamin Hotz right behind. 1:57.7, that's the new fastest lap of the race, set of course by Sven Barth in the lead. 2:02.9 for Salaquarda. Benjamin Hotz pretty much the same time, of course. He's stuck behind the ISR Racing's Audi. He's trying to find his way past. On paper he's faster, but he's got to make the move somewhere. Max has 2:03.2, so marginally slower than the R8 Audi. He himself under pressure from ARC Bratislava's Ligier. Miro Konopka 2:00.9, second fastest on the track currently. He was second on the road in the sprint yesterday. He's now trying to fight for it. Then there's Libor Milota in his AMG Mercedes P6 overall from Joachim Galaš, actually, who's 3 seconds behind him. And there is the fight for P4 overall. Miro Konopka having a look down the inside. Hess leaving space there. He does not really want to lose that much time through the process, but neither does he want to just be hanging around and waiting for that yellow Ligier to come by. It's now done so that's dealt with. And that's a better scenario for both of them, actually. Miro Konopka can start catching up with the leaders once again, while Max Hess can actually focus on his own race. It seems that it's been quite busy. Navigate around the track and let the Ligier through. And it seems that accidentally Max Hess has pushed the indicator button and left it on. We'll see if he notices. Otherwise, that's not really doing much, but if anything, it's rather misleading for the other cars. Now it seems that the indicator's off. It might be misleading and might actually lead to someone believing that he's coming into the pits. But now Max has noticed and turned the indicator off. There is Konopka already on the back of the car of Benjamin Hotz. Meanwhile, Tony Herbeck has made his way up to 8th from 11th on the grid. Denis Vašek 9th from Andreas Kufner. He has made 6 positions from the start. Pavel Sovička in the GTX KTM up by 1 position in 11th. Petr Kačírek in 12th. And Matěj Pavlíček P15 currently, or across the line he was. So if anything, he's got to try and enjoy the race. But he was 15th earlier on. I beg your pardon, I'm still looking at the live timing screen, which needs to be refreshed every now and then. In the graphics, you already see the scenario that's more up to date, just as Miro Konopka is overtaking Benjamin Hot. So Matěj Pavlíček, who was once as low down as 15th, is now back in 10th and cutting his way through the field. And there is now the fight of the two dominators of the season. The GT3 master, Filip Salaquarda in the R8 Audi. And pitting against him is Miro Konopka in the LMP3 Ligier, the dominating force of the D5 class for 2023. Around the first corner we go. 10-second penalty that's going to be processed after the race for car number 14. It must be car number 4, because we do not have a car number 14 in the standings, and there was a car number 4, which is of course Miro Konopka, who was investigated for that contact with Matěj Pavlíček on the opening lap of the race. That would make sense, of course. So 10 seconds are presumably going to be added to Konopka's time. Konopka, who's now up ahead of the R8 Audi and in second overall right now. Meanwhile, Sven Barth has already opened a lead of more than 20 seconds, as you can see. Konopka now getting away from Salaquarda. Benjamin Hotz still close behind. And they are now left to fight it out for the remaining podium spot in the overall standings. This is one of the GTC Lambos. That is Matěj Pavlíček. Let's visit the young Czech driver in his quest to fight back through the field and join his GTC colleagues / rivals. He's already with them, let's say position-wise. That means that there are no other cars between. So Pavlíček can actually focus on his own pace. On the previous lap though, Galáš did 206.0, Vašek 205.8 for his personal best. Matěj Pavlíček this time out 207.3, but he was still making up places. So maybe this time out on the lap that we are just finishing, it's going to be tiny little different. Across the line they went, just seconds back. Galáš 206.4, Vašek 206.6, Pavlíček 207.3. But the GTC field actually spreading out at the moment. Ooh, and there's a problem for the leading car, Sven Barth. Sven Barth, look at that. He's slowing right down. That's exactly what he said. It was a dominant performance in yesterday's race when he scored a lights to flag victory, but anything can happen. It's rather hot in Brno, 27 degrees centigrade, the air temperature, and as they say in motorsport, that's the famous Ron Dennis saying, to finish first you need to finish, and that's not gonna happen for Sven Barth this time out. So it is now Miro Konopka into the lead of the race. Incredible moments in the race, incredible development, and this is now your new race leader. He was once as low down as around P8, P9 behind the GTC field, but now he is the race leader in his day glow yellow ARC Bratislava Ligier LMP3. And that's Sven Barth. That's exactly what he was mentioning on the grid. It's a pleasant drive here in Brno, but of course the machinery needs to keep working. And today his car has only reached the halfway mark of the race. 25 minutes isn't much, but it's by far not the first time, and of course by far not the last time that we see someone retiring from a sprint race in ESET Cup Series. There is Max Hess, who is now going to come up into 4th overall. How about his pace? 2:03.8. He's still marginally slower than all the drivers ahead, but he still has the edge over Libor Milota. Max Hess actually fighting for the GTX victory. The M6 Beamer not entered in the GT3 class, no longer up to the regulations as it once was. So it's entered in the GTX class, and Max Hess is leading the race there. In that respect, Tony Herbeck, the second GTX car on the road with the legendary Pagani Zonda. Miro Konopka and his Ligier with 11 minutes left in this race, taking the lead by about 5.8 seconds. Miro Konopka has just set his personal best, 2:00.2. What is it going to be this time out across the line? Miro Konopka onto another one. This was 2:00.7, so half a second slower. Salakvarda leading the GT3 class, still keeping Benjamin Hotz at bay. There's really no need for Philippe to let him through. Yes, they are different classes, but this is not hindering Philippe's race in any way. He can still choose his own pace, and so far he's not had to, or he hasn't had to defend his place too hard. Personal bests for Tony Herbeck, 2:07.5. Pavel Sovichka, 2 minutes 10.6. Benjamin Hotz trying to have a look down the inside. There was Max Hess. On to another one for Filip Salakvarda. Miro Konopka currently enjoying nearly 11 seconds of his lead, 2:00.8. It's no longer even personal best for Konopka, but it is very consistent. 2:03.3 for Salakvarda, 2:03.0 for Benjamin Hotz. Then it's Max Hess, Libor Milota P5, Joachim Galash P6 overall, leading the GTC class, currently confirming that the titles go not only his team's way, but his way personally. Denis Vašek behind, but by more than 8 seconds. Matěj Pavlíček trying to get closer to Vašek, 4.4 seconds between them. And Pavlicek was faster on the previous lap, but only just. Antonín Herbeck, P9. Andreas Kufner in 10th. There is Matěj Pavlíček in his GTC Lambo. There seems to be slight damage to the diffuser, to one of the turning vanes. If you just look at the car from the rear and sort of look, if you look in the middle of the diffuser, that vertical flap on the left-hand side seems to be flapping around a little bit. Seems to be loose. So the diffuser not really working as efficiently as it could, but at the same time, I assume that that's not a terribly big issue. That would be hampering his performance too much. The vertical flaps serving as sort of air separators. You of course want the air to be streaming around your bodywork, mostly in a linear way, mainly under the diffuser. You don't want turbulent air there under the diffuser, for the diffuser to actually work nice and efficiently. And you're just separating the single streams from one another so that they do not mix up too much and that they just stay pointing in the correct direction for the diffuser to be worked harder and with greater efficiency. That Lambo though, the car number 66, driven by Matěj Pavlíček, looks a tiny little nervous under braking into the first corner. Of course, it's incredibly hard for the tyres as well. The surface is rather rough and the temperatures are pretty high, so it is actually a big degradation game. And we've also seen Max Hess, whom we have in the shot right now, sort of fighting with the rear of the car. The car seems to be rather tail happy, not as planted as we used to from the M4. But the team didn't really have that much chance to set it up properly. And, it's not been raced for a while, this car. But it's still fully functioning, and for the team to use, should they need it. It's already happened a couple of times that the new generation of the BMW GT3 machine, the M4, had issues, and that left team to make that decision to actually drop it for the weekend and return back to the M6. It actually happened on its initial occasion and its appearance last year on in the opening round. That was Hungary back then. There is Libor Milota struggling with the rears as well through the first corner, sliding around a little bit. And this is still the fight for P2 overall, still undecided. Matěj Pavlíček once again on the lens of our cameras, just trying to push himself, go and do more. 3.5 minutes left on the clock. Those are the final ones in 2023. This has been a great season for Michanek Motorsport youngsters. They were pitted against one another. They were pitched against one another in their fight, which was the best way to learn for them. With the helping support of the team coach and mentor Josef Záruba. So they enjoyed a season-long fight for the GTC title. Joachim Galasch coming out on top in the end. But for next year, they might join forces once again for the Lamborghini Super Trofeo. The team, of course, has had quite large experience with that championship from the past, with Jirka Mičánek, Josef Záruba, Broňa Formánek. And they're all here for the home event of the team again, with the usual presence on the grid and in the paddock. Inviting the Miss Czech Republic, Karolina Kopincová, as well for the weekend. We also saw Jirka's dad in the paddock. It was great to see him back and have a little chat. Home event, as it really should be. Final minute, and with that we're about to enter the final lap. So the absolute end of 2023 ESET Cup Series is 5.5 kilometers away now, with Miro Konopka coming across the line with just about half a minute left on the clock. So he is now on the final one. Miro Konopka making his way around the first corner of the track here at Masaryk Racing Circuit. Up the hill once more we go to the highest point of the track. There is Filip Salakvada, still not handing that second place to Benjamin Hotz. Still not needing to. And the time is up. So that's it for 2023. And we're about to finish the final one. It was the German guest driver Sven Barth taking the glory in yesterday's race in his Ginetta Chevrolet. But that car had a failure in today's race while leading, so had to retire. So the glory now comes over to the second prototype on the track, the second Le Mans special. Miro Konopka and ARC Bratislava are going to be the last victors of 2023. Miro Konopka coming across the line, scoring victory for ARC Bratislava here in Brno for the final time in 2023. And we are about to welcome the dominating Audi R8 of Filip Salakvarda on the start and finish straight. There he goes across the line. Filip Salakvarda tops his dominant season in a victorious fashion, taking the GT3 victory once again. Max Hess coming home fourth on the road, second, well, first in the GTX class actually. It's Benjamin Hotz, third on the road overall, right behind Salakvarda, just under 1 second behind him. And we're now waiting for Libor Milota to come across the line. There he goes. Libor Milota finishing his race in second in the GT3 class, and Joachim Galash. Let's catch with Joachim Galash across the line, the Michanek Motorsport Lambo. Joachim Galash making his way around the final corner. There he goes. And he is now the undisputed GTC champion. Joachim Galash scoring another victory to make it a home double. And there is now no doubt in any way the standings can be calculated that Joachim Galash is the series winner for the GTC. Denis Vašek second in GTC class. Matěj Pavlíček, after that unfortunate spin, after the contact from Miro Konopka, he's finishing 8th on the road, 3rd in the class. Miro Konopka crucially leading by more than 20 seconds across the line. So even with the 10-second penalty applied, he still remains 1st overall. No change about that. Antonín Herbeck with his Pagani Zonda, prepared by the Rock Robots team, 2nd in GTX, 9th on the road, and Andreas Kufner in P10 from Pavel Sovička, Petr Kačírek, Franz Lámer, Bob Bau, Antal Žigo, the sole GT4 entry, 15th on the road. Behind him, Richard Vošic and Wolfgang Terschel. So that's it for the 2023 season. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for coming to the races themselves and visiting us. It's great to be together with you, and we hope that you've enjoyed the entire season. It's been a thrilling one once again, and we'll be back with more next year. So stay tuned. And yeah, this is just a great way to spend our weekends with wonderful motorsport, wonderful cars, great soundtrack, preferably in great weather. And with the final results of the final weekend, this is going to be it from us. So once again, thank you so much from me. My name's Pavel Fabry, I'm your commentator. Also thank you from our whole production team, and from my side to our whole production team. It's been a pleasure, and we just hope that we'll be back back for more before too long. And now from the sunny Brno, it is a very, very warm goodbye.